This article's talking about that the music industry is facing an industry killer that is on the way because of the way that funds are distributed throughout the music industry. Now, a lot of this isn't news. I feel like a lot of these articles are written for people who are outside of the music industry. This probably won't be news to you if I'm to say, believe it or not, Spotify doesn't pay that well. Streaming royalties aren't as much as selling an album. And you're like, what? How did I not know about this, Jason? Thank you so much for telling me. Obviously, the music industry is not what it used to be. People are finding it really hard to make an income in the music industry. But this article is saying that labels are winning at the moment and independent artists are not winning at the moment. Now, I completely disagree with that. I mean, labels are not winning, just kind of like seagulls fighting over chips. And you're like, well, the labels got more scrap chips than the independent artists. There's not a lot to pick from at the moment, okay? But record labels are sure. I mean, of the scraps, the record labels are getting more scraps. The music industry needs to find a new source of income so that people can actually start earning again. So they're saying inside this article that they're talking specifically about Australian artists here, but I guess that the numbers they give will be at least kind of similar to around the world. It won't be like radically different, but they're saying here that only 8,000 Australians make music as their primary source of income, and the average musician earns only $7,200 each year. Now, obviously, a lot of that would come from, live gigging, or it could be from covers gigs. I mean, they're pretty broad about what they consider to be monetary income in the music industry. I've said forever, like if a music artist wants the perfect job, get into private music tuition. I've said this from the beginning. It is the absolute perfect job for music artists. It gives you all your time back. You only work a couple of hours of an afternoon. You get a crazy income. Forget $7,000. You can earn like over $100,000 a year as a private music tutor. It's got everything you need. You don't need to work a whole bunch. You earn a lot of money. You've got a lot of time in the day to be able to work on your original music. Obviously, being a private music tutor isn't your end game, but it will be the stepping stone that will allow you the income and the time to work toward your end game. Perfect. That's the reason why I was able to buy my recording studio. It's the reason that I was able to tour all the time, get signed to a label, and still work in the meantime and never have to think about getting fired because I was my own boss as a music tutor. The issue is that a lot of music artists think, well, I wouldn't know what to teach them. And you're like, well, that's easy to figure out. You teach them what you already know. And they go, do I have to do any additional training to become a tutor? Well, no, there's no like college course to become a private music tutor. But the biggest misconception that a lot of music artists have about private music tutoring is that they think that they're going to be teaching C chords to 8-year-olds. And that's not true. You don't have to teach children. I actually built a songwriting studio. I was working with people around my age or a bit younger, and I was teaching them how to become songwriters themselves. Now, I've trained people how to become tutors that have become death metal guitar instructors only, and that's all they taught. And you can teach whatever you want. Production, if you want to teach electronic production, how to become like DJ stuff, or even like beat making, you can do whatever you want. Just teach people what you already know, earn a fantastic income. That's how you make money. That's a side note on how you can make a full-time income in music. You don't have to earn $7,000 a year trying to make $50 here and there playing live shows. Okay, it's easy. You've got all the answers in front of you. But they're saying here that the music industry needs to flip. The lower income earners need to earn more money, or else the industry is going to become top heavy, and smaller independent artists aren't going to be able to create the art that the world needs to hear. Meanwhile, the big record labels are keeping the industry top heavy and only creating fabricated, sterile sounding music that is cookie cutter and is what they believe is going to sell. And they're creating music to be sold versus authentic music that is an art form. Now, they're saying that like that's news. The music industry has been like that for about 80 years, okay? They've always been trying to find ways to create music that will sell more and turn music into a product. There's obviously a huge divide between music artists that are writing music just to sell versus music artists that are writing music to make their listeners feel something. But that's how it's always been, and it probably will always be that way in the future. Even if independent artists can find an income stream to bring back their income, I can't ever really see the industry flipping completely, and then the only music that people listen to is really emotive, moving music written by artists with vision. There are a lot of people in the general population that don't care what they listen to and just want to listen to music that the radio tells them to listen to, okay? And that's just music they can listen to in the background that makes them feel happy. I could go into a huge breakdown of that and why that is, but there's like two types of people in the world: people who actively search for things that they like versus people who just want to be told what they like. The general population is made up of a lot of people who just want to be told what to listen to, and the labels and the radio stations tell them what to listen to, okay? It's that cycle. But all independent artists have got to do, yourself included, is to find a way to build that community full of people that actually want to support real music and make that popular and trendy again. And that's quite a big ask in today's industry. And there's an important point here at the end that they kind of just skimmed across because I don't think they realized the point they were actually making, but you should take it on board because it is a really interesting way of thinking about how to get your music heard, okay? They've said here at the end that in other fun facts from the study, 9 out of 10 Australians were found to listen to music every week, with almost half of them tuning in while exercising. Isn't that interesting? That's just like a normal sentence that they use just to finish the article saying that, oh, by the way, people listen while exercising. But think about that. If you can find a way to get into your consumers' ears before they start exercising, chances are they might listen to your music. A lot of the times you might be messaging them or, trying to get them to consider your music while they're at work when they can't. But if you know that a lot of people, almost half of them, are tuning in at the gym or before they exercise, consider that when you're promoting your music and try to find times that people are more likely to exercise. So before work in the morning, afternoon, nighttime, that's when you should be messaging people. If you know people are listening while they're exercising, that's the time where they're making that decision of what to listen to. That's where you want to be.
Why not check out another video? You can do so by clicking right here. You'll find even more ways for your music to take over the world. But before you do, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way you won't miss my next video.